It is 1:26, and we will call the Board of Trustees of Harris County Department of Education now convened to a board meeting on Wednesday, January 19th, 2022, in the boardroom at 6300 Irvington Boulevard. And thank you. This is a Board Appreciation Month. As you can see up here, we're getting a lot of love, so thank y'all very much. So I'd like to extend a warm welcome to everyone present at this meeting. The Board of Trustees. As trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operation of the department are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members receive information related to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by section 551.071 to 551.084, inclusive of the Texas Governmental Code. I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking, and that cell phones are turned off or in the silent mode or vibrate. Thank you for taking time today to join us for your interest in Harris County Department of Education. We will now move on to the agenda item 1 and 2, which will be the invocation by Dr. Cheney Williams Ledette, and we remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance to the U.S. flag and then the Texas flag from Jeanette Manel.
Good afternoon to the Board of Trustees, to Mr. Colbert, to the leadership team, and those that are assembled. It is always definitely an honor and a privilege to be asked to pray. And with every eye closed and every head bowed, let's go to God in prayer. Heavenly Father, we come to you today thanking you for yet another day, for yet another breath, for you being the giver of life. We thank you for our trustees and the decisions that they have made and the decisions that they will continue to make that are in the best interest of the children of Harris County. We ask the special blessing upon our superintendent and the leadership team who serves Harris County Department of Ed, that they are guided and leaded to make bold decisions, but yet equitable decisions, that they are guided to make right decisions, salient decisions, and decisions that are for the betterment of all of the children that we serve. We also, Father, ask for the assembly that are here today, those that are present here and those that are present virtually. We pray a special prayer upon us, Lord, a prayer of safety, a prayer of protection, that we too continue to do the will of this organization. Now, when we leave this place and we go to our designated destinations, we ask, now unto him who is able to provide abundantly, exceedingly, above all that we can ask, do, or think, according to the will and the purpose that works within us. We ask this in your dear Son's name. Amen.
So now for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee. Texas, one state under God, one and indivisible. You may be seated.
All right, we will now move on to agenda item 4, which is a public hearing on the annual financial management report for fiscal year 2021.
There is a report in your packet that looks something like this, and I'll be reviewing the annual financial management report for the year ending August 31st, 2021. Senate Bill 218 of the 77 legislature in 2001 required the implementation of financial accountability system. It is called the first rating system. While the majority of these indicators do not apply to Harris County Department of Ed, we apply those that are pertinent to Harris County Department of Ed, and so we'll be reviewing those as we go. The purpose of the rating is to ensure that entities will be held accountable, disclose quality of local management, and encourage entities to manage their financial resources better. It was started back in 2001 by Senate Bill 2018, and it is embedded in Title 19 of the Texas Administrative Code. We're required to have a public hearing and publish in the newspaper, which we have done so for today. The required disclosures includes the superintendent's current contract in the report, which is attached to your report, reimbursements for various activities for the superintendent, and then amount compensation fees by the superintendent, any gifts valued of $250 or more declared by the board members, none. Business transactions between HCDE and each board member, none. And also a schedule of information of solvency provisions under Chapter 39 of the Education Code. There are 20 indicators out of 15 indicators that are applied. 14 were met and 1 was not, and I'll go through the rationale for not meeting that one. The first one was the CAFR completed in a timely manner? Yes, it was presented earlier at the audit committee meeting. It will be presented to the board later on in this report, in this agenda item. Financial indicator number 2 was an unmodified opinion in the annual financial report. Yes, indicator was met, and you will see the results of the audit report later on in the agenda. Indicator number 3 was the department in compliance with payment terms and all debt agreements. Yes, indicator was met for 2020 and 2021. Did the department make timely payments to TRS, Texas Workforce Commission, and Internal Revenue Service, and other governmental entities? Indicator was met. All payments were made on a timely basis. Indicator number 5, were the unrestricted net position balance in the statement of net position greater than 0? This indicator was suspended by T at that time and not rated. We did not meet that because of the pension liability required to be reported on the governmental-wide financial statements, and we cover those during the audit committee meeting. Financial indicator number 6 was the average change in assigned and unassigned fund balance over the last 3 years, less than 25% decrease, and in the current assigned and unassigned fund balance exceeds 75 days of operational expenditures. Yes, the indicator was met. It was net minus 3%, and we have over 125 days of operational expenditures. Was the number of days on cash on hand in current investments sufficient to cover operating expenditures? The number of days on cash on hand is 193 for 2021 versus 2020 of 236. Was the measure current assets and current liabilities ratio sufficient to cover short-term debt? The ratio is 16, and the indicator was met, supposed to last year that it was 10. Did the general fund expenditures equal or exceed expenditures excluding facility and construction? The indicator was met. It was $2.3 million in excess. Last year, it was $3 million in 2020. Did the indicator number 10, did the department average less than 10% variance in comparing budget revenues to action the last 3 fiscal years? The average was minus 5% the last 3 years. Financial indicator number 11, was the ratio of long-term liabilities to total assets sufficient to support long-term solvency? And the indicator was met at 70%. Last year it was 56%. Number 12 is not applicable. 13 is not applicable. 14 is not applicable. 15, these are based on enrollment for school districts, so therefore it's not applicable to us. Number 16 is not applicable. 17, the report, the annual report, disclosed any instance of material weaknesses in internal control. No disclosure was made, therefore the indicator was met. Indicator number 18, the external auditor indicate was free from any material non-compliance for grants, contracts, laws related to state, local, state, or federal funds. The indicator was met. The audit did not identify any instances of material non-compliance, and you will see here that report later on in the agenda. Number 19, the department posts the required information on the website in accordance to government, local government code, Texas Education and Texas Administrative Code, and other statutes, laws, and rules that were in effect at the fiscal year end. Everything was posted. All our financial information is posted on our website. And then number 20, the department's board members discussed the property values at a board meeting within 120 days before the budget was adopted. Yes, the board members discuss, in fact, property values every month. We provide that presentation every month to the board, and also adopt it prior to July the 15th of 2020. That's the information of the public hearing, and at this time, any public comment on the report or any information that I can respond at this time.
All right, so if there's anybody from the public who wants to speak on the report that Dr. Mesco just shared, the time will be now. Seeing none, we will move on to the next agenda item. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Mesco. We will now move on to agenda item 5, which is the open forum, public participation pursuant to policy BED local. A citizen who wishes to speak may do so by completing a participation request card available at the boardroom at least 10 minutes prior to the regular board meeting. I was informed that there were no one to sign up, so we will now move on to agenda item 6, which are reports and presentations. And we will now move on to agenda item 6A, which is the employee of the month, which will be presented by our Executive Director of Human Resources, Natasha Truitt.
Good afternoon. As part of HCDE's recognition program, it's my honor to present the Employee of the Month for January 2022. The Employee of the Month program is designed to encourage recognition of HCDE employees who willingly take initiative beyond regular assignments, demonstrate a high quality of work and commitment to completing duties, works as a team member, and uses creativity, innovation, and collaboration to enhance performance. Our January Employee of the Month is described as an essential ingredient in Choice Partners' recipe for success. Ms. Faye Yvonne Johnson has served in her role as General Office Clerk for the Choice Partners Division for almost 12 years. She is the first point of contact when you enter the Choice Partners suite, and she is described as an employee who shines and exemplifies professionalism. Ms. Johnson is the administrative support lead for the division who supervises the timely setup and completion of orientations and workshops, maintains the Choice Partners conference schedule, and numerous conference registrations for staff. Her work also entails maintaining the monthly content management of Choice's website, the awarded contract list, membership list, and marketing materials. All of this requires extraordinary multitasking abilities. When prepping to roll out a vendor orientation or member appreciation event, Ms. Johnson always stays until all tasks are completed. She will remain at her desk finalizing all details for the event, even if it requires staying late. At one event, a member had a child care conflict and had her infant daughter with her. When the baby started to fuss, Ms. Johnson, who is a stellar grandmother, took the baby and cared for her so the member was able to enjoy the event. Nothing is beyond the reach of Ms. Johnson, who is always willing and ready to step in to help or engage. A Choice team member shared that the Choice Partner staff recognizes when their North Star and spirit is not present. They feel lost. Having a team member like Ms. Johnson, who is willing to shoulder more than her share on many occasions, makes life easy for the employees of Choice. I would now like to share a video featuring Ms. Johnson.
Yvonne is a bright light. She's the first face that people see when they come into the Choice Partners area.
One of my biggest things that I am responsible for is coordinating all the conferences, and I play a big part in coordinating some of the events, getting things that we need, and so I'm very particular about it.
It's like your mom. She's always on you if you forget something, or I need that information because I got to get this going and I need it done, and you need to have it to me so I can have it back to you.
I love challenges. I feel like I am the glue in many cases to help the division run and to cohesively come together to make decisions.
We're very much a marketing and sales organization, so she does a lot of the admin, the backup, the work that you don't see out there, but it helps make our job easier. She's a very integral part in what we do here in Choice Partners.
Whatever. Other duties as assigned. Okay, guys, let's talk about the upcoming event. My favorite part is just pretty much every day interacting with my team members. And we're such a small group, so we can kind of consider ourselves as a family. It takes every individual within our division to make it all come together. And I myself have my husband, 2 boys, and I have a granddaughter. She is my heart's joy. What we all do is get together, we buy taller trees, we gather clothes, and you know, some of us have so many clothes, we have clothes with tags on them. And we finally decided that, you know, I was trying to pull names or spend all this money to get gifts for one another. Let's give it to someone in need. So we started going to the Star of Hope downtown. That was always a good time. And you know, after we finished, we all went to eat. Working here at Harris County Department of Education has been an evolving experience. I like to do acronyms. I said HCDE. H is for hope, because all the different programs, the people in the organization, they provide hope and a new outlook on the future for a lot of the kids, like adult education. And then I would say C, community. They give back to the community. And all these different divisions and parts and schools and offerings go into the community, and that's important. And D is dedication. We have so many dedicated people, so many selfless people that want to see HCDE evolve and to help our children. And E, of course, education. Education is important. You have to have an education to go forward.
Congratulations to Ms. Johnson. Please come forward. All right, we'll have the photo.
There you go, that's good. All right, crowd around. There you go. And a little bit. We're doing the same thing. All right, here we go. Big smiles, everybody. One more time. Thank you.
Yeah. So thank you. And Ms. Johnson, actually, she Trustee Brown and I actually shared a table, and we were there for about 10 minutes before everybody came up and started saying, she's the employee of the month, right? So we said, oh, wait a minute now. So yeah, we're all getting appreciated today apparently. So we thank you for your time. Some things I didn't know about you until I saw your video was that you were a stellar grandmother. I think it was the name, was the term I heard, was a stellar grandmother. So I'm glad to hear that you're doing that. Also, I really like the acronym you gave for HCDE. I thought that was actually pretty cool. Particularly, and also your duties as a sign. We all know that term. So we know that you do that well. But particularly, and also Star of Hope is something actually I remember volunteering there even when I was an undergrad student. So I'm glad to know more about you, Ms. Johnson. We thank you once again. So thank you very much. We will now move on to agenda item 6B, which is the superintendent monthly report. So, Superintendent Colbert.
Thank you, President Norris. I just got a few things to update you. First, at your stations, each of y'all should have this invitation. It's a card to our adult ed groundbreaking ceremony. We're really looking forward to that. We've had to move that up a little bit. Apparently, we're working around the Houston Rodeo. It's hard to rent tents and stuff right now because they pretty much got that on lockdown. But this would be great. If you haven't had a chance, you might want to drive by the adult ed, the old adult ed site, because there's nothing there but a fence. And so they have leveled that, and they're making quite a bit of progress. So we're really looking forward to that. Next, I want to pass out to you. This is a summary report of our tools for teachers. Trustee Duhan, we will certainly get you a copy. But what this is essentially it's a list of all the school districts that participated in this initiative and how many actual certificates or vouchers were awarded. Now, as you know, we've had probably a lot more teachers respond and actually claim their voucher, but we ultimately ended up with 1,370 teachers who took advantage of the voucher, so this is a super successful initiative. We'll look into, when we spin up into this budget cycle, to decide whether we want to put more money into this and expand it, and then promote it and advertise it earlier, maybe to more teachers, but I think we should certainly build off of this momentum, and this is an excellent idea. Thank you, Trustee Duhan. Finally, as you know, this is Board Appreciation Month, and the board has been absolutely spoiled this today, and I called it, you got a lifer. You got a gift that is a lifetime, and we look forward to celebrating that young man, Christopher, next month when he attends the board meeting, especially with his parents. But we also have a quick video that our staff prepared for you that I think you should see, and if we can go ahead and roll that.
My name is Dr. Victor Keys. I am the principal at ABS West. I'm here with my staff and students, and the Harris County Board of Education trustees are the best!
We are so grateful to the Harris County Board of Education for their passion and support of Fortis Academy. We appreciate your dedication, your time, and your efforts in making this a successful venture for our students in Harris County. And on behalf of Fortis Academy, we would like to say, thank you, Board.
Thank you for serving and leading with heart. We heart you back.
To our wonderful HCDE Board of Trustees, from the Head Start leadership team, we want to say thank you.
My name is Julia Andrews, the director for the Center for Safe and Secure Schools, and this is part of my team, Janice and Gil. We just want to say thank you to our Harris County Department of Education board members. Thank you.
The Service Desk and Information Technology wants to say thank you, our board members, for supporting us, allowing us to support our students, our staff, and our faculty. In other words, we want to say thank you.
I am Carrie Crabb, Senior Director for School-Based Therapy Services. On behalf of the 6,500 children that we serve across Harris County, we want to say thank you.
Hello, board. This is Jeff Drury with Choice Partners. These are our team members, and we want to say thank you for everything you do to help us rise above. Thank you, board.
Hello, I am Courtney Waters, principal at High Point School East, and we are here to say thank you.
Thank you to the board members. We appreciate everything that you do for us. We are excited about our new building, and we couldn't have done it without you. So, Thank you for all you do. The Research and Evaluation Institute would like to thank you for your service.
Hi, my name is Jesus Amezcua, Assistant Superintendent for Business, and this is our staff in the Business Services Department, and we want to thank you for your support and your leadership at Harris County Department of Education. Thank you.
From book clubs to robotics, from 21st century to case debates, after school programs keep kids safe, inspire them to learn, and help working families. Thank you, HCDE Board, for making after school cool. Thank you, board
I will certainly say this, our staff members have impeccable timing. You know, they got that timing down to saying thank you at the same time. I couldn't have pulled that off. I also want to recognize that y'all got some goodie bags from our campuses. Fortis Academy provided you with some sweets, I believe. High Point gave you a shirt, and one of our AB campuses also gave you a goodie bag. So we only do this once a year, so we're trying to maximize it. We only see you once a month, and so I appreciate your leadership and look forward to continuing to lead with you. With that, that's all I have, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Superintendent Colbert. Thank you, and thank you everybody for all those thank yous. We appreciate the thank you. That's why we started a little late. We were just thinking that we're getting thanked so much that we got a little caught up. So thank y'all, and we're proud to serve you and all that you do, because you guys do the actual work. We actually come here, we approve budgets, and we go home, and you actually do the work. So thank you for all that you do. All right, moving on to agenda item 6C, which is annual division update on educator certification and advancement. That will be from Dr. Shelley McKinley. I'm sorry.
Hi, good afternoon. President Norris, trustees, and Superintendent Colbert, thank you. My name is Shelley McKinley, and I am the Curriculum and Compliance Officer for Educator Certification and Advancement, known as ECA. Again, thank you for the opportunity to share our data and our highlights spanning from 2020 to 2021 with you today. So, let's see. So who are we? I'd like to introduce the ECA team, if you would please stand. We are small but mighty. We had our director, Lydia Zatopek, retire in December, so we're currently a team of 5. Let me introduce Dr. Cheney Ledette. She gives leadership to the principal program. Miss Amy Thompson, our secretary, and Miss Johnette Manil, she gives leadership to our teacher program. We have one more member, Leslie Gomez. She isn't with us today, but she does a phenomenal job for us. So thank you, ladies. ECA began in 2004 with the principal certification program and added the teacher certification program in 2007. Since then, ECA has garnered a stellar reputation locally and throughout the state in supporting the development of teachers and district leaders at all levels. We are focused on recruiting high caliber, diverse, motivated candidates into the teacher and principal programs. Once admitted, we provide relevant preparatory curriculum and instruction that yields state licensure for individuals and establishes a transformational talent pipeline for the school districts that we serve. Our finishers are ready to step into their roles and make a difference on day one. For the principal program, we recruit teachers and instructional coaches that have master's degrees and are ready to make the transition into campus administration. And for the teacher program, we recruit people who have bachelor's degrees but lack teacher certification. This is our data, and we're extremely proud of it. Currently, we have 23 teachers in the teacher program and 50 in the principal program, but the highlight is that we continuously get these results each year. This data spans September 1st, 2020 through August 31st, 2021. Our current pass rates are 100%, and we're very proud of that. Our philosophy is that once a candidate is admitted to the program, they commit to us and we commit to them. These pass rates represent that philosophy. It represents the instruction that we provide and the encouragement that we give our candidates to push them over the finish line. We're also proud of this 98.8% client satisfaction rate. A cornerstone of our programs is ongoing and timely feedback for our candidates. We achieve this through 45-minute observations. Teacher candidates get 5 observations per school year, and principal candidates get 3 observations. And it's during those post-observation conferences where the coaching occurs. We looked at our program fees and adjusted them to fit the COVID-impacted economy and remain competitive in the alternative certification program market. Our current program fees are $2,500 for the teacher program and $2,600 for the principal program. This new pricing was determined in March 2021. Here are the school districts in which you can find our current candidates. Again, talking about pride, we're extremely proud of the work that we accomplished from September 20 to August 21. We were intentional and strategic in our recruitment process, and that included automating our application process and holding partnership meetings, partnership proposal meetings with districts throughout the HCD service area. Those meetings were worthwhile because we've maintained communication with those district leaders. More highlights. In addition to recruitment, we continue to train for Aldine ISD, applied for and awarded prestigious grants that are high profile in the state, and served as presenters at local and state conferences. Concerning trends, candidates have several alternative certification programs online and in the greater Houston area to choose from, but we strive to be the preferred resource for school districts. One approach, of course, is to invite guest speakers from various school districts because ultimately they become ambassadors for our programs. Another one has been to address the low supply of teachers. And so in doing so, as I said, we reduced the price to relieve financial pressure off of our candidates, and then also switched to hybrid learning to maximize their time. So we were able to do all of that without sacrificing quality, frequency of communication, or engagement. In fact, we're modeling rigorous, relevant instruction that they can replicate with district leaders and students alike. The other trend is the increased need for bilingual teachers. To meet that demand, we did apply for and were awarded a helpers grant from the Ohio State University to address that need. That grant incentivizes the pursuit of bilingual and ESL certifications. And with that, again, I say thank you. And if you have any questions, they're welcome.
Oh, Trustee Cantu.
Dr. McKinley, thank you for your report. My question is, these fees, are they self-pay, or do the school districts sponsor these candidates that are going through certification?
They are self-pay in one instance with Energize for Excellence. Those are deducted from their paychecks, because that's an agreement that we have with Energized for Excellence, but otherwise they pay for themselves. Thank you.
Any other questions? Oh, Trustee Davis.
Dr. McKinley, would you mind explaining the grant to help to get the bilingual teachers?
So what occurs is on the front end, they get a portion of their program fee paid, and then on the back end, when they get certified, that becomes the additional. So there's an incentive on the front end to get in the program, and then to stay in the program and finish. You end with your certification, and then you get the second half of the stipend.
Be that helping, or we can try to help to get more?
I can get back to you on that one, and just give us time to think. Mm-hmm.
One of the issues that we run up against is that many of those applicants need visas, and the state has they haven't made it easier on us to help those applicants get visas. And so there are certain hurdles that we run up against, but the team has done a phenomenal job of really trying to exert some action against adversity to try and ensure that we're getting those high-quality bilingual and special needs candidates in the pipeline.
Thank you.
Superintendent Colbert.
I'd just like to say that, drawing attention to the passing rate, that's a point of pride for all alternative certification programs. Mm-hmm. I don't care what university you go to, to the point where they won't even let you take the test unless they can assure that you can pass it, because they want to maintain their passing rate. So to have 100% passing rate is excellent. It's interesting that I've spoken a number of times to our students in alternative certification program, and I know of one individual that I spoke to the group many years ago, and he was a principal, and now he serves as a deputy superintendent in one of the districts. And so it's interesting to see them evolve and grow, and where they started and now to where they're at. So I appreciate y'all and your whole department. Good job.
Thank you. And thank you very much, Dr. McKinley. The 100% pass rate is excellent, and so is the 98.8% satisfaction rate. So it sounds like you guys are doing a phenomenal job. Keep doing what you do. Thank you very much. All right. So now we'll move on to agenda item 6D, other reports from board members concerning attendance or participation in board or HCDE related conference, event, activity, or committee, accolades for HCDE staff member or a deserving person. I think the only thing that's happened since the last meeting was for those who got a chance to go to the card giveaway. That was before the last meeting. No, it was after. Was it? Oh, that's yeah. Wait a minute. The collision was before the last board meeting. Okay. Well, yes, I think it was. So it was after. So okay. So two things. So for those who didn't get a chance, I'm sorry, y'all. This is post Christmas and everything else. So that was all the way last year. But between the last board meeting and now, a couple of events that I went to. I think Trustee Brown, you went to one of the collision gift card giveaways. Trustee Brown went to one on one day, and I went to one on the other day. Where Bates Car Care Collision and Car Care gave away cars to deserving families, part of what our Head Start program, which was awesome. And it for those who have never got a chance to go, it is super awesome. They basically take up the repair. They take a vehicle, repair it on their volunteer to repair it, and then give it to a family in need. So it's awesome. I'm not sure how they were getting people from Baytown. They were saying, one of the mothers I saw, she was somehow commuting from Baytown to the middle of the city. I'm not sure. I didn't know the bus ran that far out there. So I'm like, I don't know how she was doing it without a car, but it's just amazing when you hear the story. So glad to hear that. Also, Trustee Hinojosa reminded that we went to the Christmas party at AB East campus, and we even got a chance to dance. If you saw the video, we were out there dancing. I don't know if I'm gonna see that again. I saw the one of me in the swing for the last, I think every event that I have since then, I've seen myself in the swing. So that may be one of Trustee Hinojosa and I out there swinging our legs a little bit. So, but it was a very awesome time. So thank you, Trustee Brown.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Norris. I just wanted to add on, if you never had the chance to
be a part of the Bates Family Car Giveaway with our Head Start family, I encourage you to for sure go. Last year was my first time attending, and just seeing the smile on the children's faces, the parents, and seeing how many gifts they got, I was like, hold on, man, do one of those have my name on it? But not, on a serious note, though, just being able to be a part of that energy and a part of the process was, I really enjoyed that, and I'm grateful to be there. So, yeah, I encourage you all to go if you can. Thank you.
There we go. All right. So thank you very much. Any other reports or any updates? Seeing none, we will move on to agenda item 6E, which is the report of board committees. From the committee chairs, any reports? I don't think so. Trustee Brown?
So our Head Start Policy Council met yesterday. We had a great meeting. Thank you to Ms. Peacock and all of the Head Start Policy team members. It's the new year, so we're getting things rolling. But the meeting went well, and looking forward to everything we have in store this year.
Thank you, Trustee Brown. Any other committee chair updates? Seeing none, we'll move on to agenda item 6F, monthly financial reports through December 31st, 2021 from Dr. Amesqua.
The first report is of financial highlights as of December 31st, 2021. Our balance sheet is total assets of $26,471,700, liabilities of $2,212,987, and equity of $26,471,700. The fund balance as of December 31st is $26,826,266. You will hear later on the report how we ended up the year at August 31st, 2021 in a report from the external auditors. Our financial ratios for the first 4 months of the year, percentage of fund balance of general fund expenditure ratio, we're at 70%, which is comparable to last year at the same time, 71%. Working capital ratio, we're at 24 million versus 31 million at the same time last year. Unassigned fund balance ratio, we're at 47%, a little bit ahead than last year at 35% at the same time. Debt to income ratio, very comparable at 5.5 versus 6% last year at the same time. Tax revenue to total revenue, we're at 30% versus 4% last year. Indirect cost to tax ratio, we're at 3% at this time versus 4% last year. Fee for service ratio, we're at 24%. Last year we were 11%, so a little bit ahead. Fee per service ratio growth, we're at minus 21% versus minus 17. Some of our revenues will come in later on in the fiscal year. Fund balance activity for September to December, we had 1,086,300 in amendments. Inflows for, as of December 31st, we were at 14,525,552, or 25% of the budget. Special revenues are at 10%. Overall, we're at 19% budget to actual in terms of our revenues. Expenditures or outflows, we're at 30% in the general fund versus budget to actual all funds at 40%. Our COVID report for general fund, we have available 486,163, and we have in Head Start available 1,442,389. Our donations report for the month of December were $1,028. Primarily some donations for Head Start and technology services. Our values as of December, we have 516 billion certified, and we still have 2.9 billion to be certified. Total of projected of 520 billion for the end of the year. We started with 521, almost 522 billion, so it looks like it's going to be only about $520 billion when it's all said and done at the end of August. The impact of that could be in approximately values at this point in time of about 400,000 revenue that we will not realize based on values not meeting the certification. Year-to-date collections, we have $6,982,975, or 20% of the levy that has come in. The next month will be probably our largest month. You will see a lot of that being collected in the month of January. We have year-to-date expenditures of HCAD fees and tax office fees of $265,134. Our collection rate, we're at now at, we just collected 27%. Our disbursements for the month were $3,666,056, 343 checks, 643 transactions, and 6 transfers, and all are posted on our website. Segment information or data for ECI, we're at minus 100,651. Records management, 347,774. School-based therapy services, 1,868,831. Those variances, and then schools at 1,793,910. Choice continues strong at 52% ratio, or a benefit rate variance of 894,765. Our amendments for the month are grants, 361,803. And then our capital projects, 1,332,631. Primarily the grants are CASE, Head Start, and those are adjustments to the appropriations or the donations that were received, and so we're adjusting the budget for those amounts totaling 361,803. The larger amount is 353,303. Which is some donations for Precinct 2 for Barrett Station that we received for the early Head Start Center that will be under construction for Barrett Station. In the construction fund, we have transfers for $700,705 from the fund balancing construction to, and basically we're swapping maintenance notes for local revenue so that we can provide flexibility to our capital program fund to the tune of $1,332,631. Educational foundation update, really not a lot of activity. Still we have equity of $1,048,476 and only a $30 operating expense for the month. In our capital revenue project update, total CIP is $47,323,330. We have approximately 5% of AB East, 4% of Irvington, 6% of High Point East, and 11% of Adult Ed. That's the same proposal from August the 3rd, 2020, and the monies that were collected from 2020 when they were sold. Projects that are underway is Coolwood Head Start, funded through HHS, and some of the properties that we already closed on those properties. That's the financial report for December 31st, 2021.
Any questions? Trustee Cantu?
Dr. Amezcua, thank you for your report. Can you remind me what makes up the 50+ million in general funds? I know 25 million of that is our tax revenue. What's the other portion come from?
$25 million is general fund. About $20 million is fee for services, where we charge our school districts, also transfer from choice coming in, also indirect costs from the grants. It's also makes that up. but the largest number is the fee for services.
About the special revenue amount?
Those are grants. Those are grants like Head Start, Adult Ed, After-School Program, Department of Justice, all those grants that are federal and state.
Those total about 30 million?
There are about 30 million, but what you see here in the special revenue for 50 million, there's an overlap of Head Start. Head Start is from January to December, and so we have to account for both grants in one fiscal year. So the Head Start is 2 grants because it starts from January to December 31st, and then our fiscal year starts in August to next September, so we have to account for both of the grants.
That number was kind of throwing me off.
Yes, it's about 30 million are grants.
All right.
Dr. Mesco, I just had one other question that came to mind. You mentioned that there was about a $400,000 shortage because of the, I guess was a couple billion. It was like a couple billion short for the tax certification.
But
the projected.
Yes, for. Let me see if I find it.
It was like 4 something.
Yeah, 410.
Yeah. I'm just curious on, what are are we able to wiggle with that?
Yes. Basically, as we go through the year, if they don't get certified between now and August, then that would be it.
Mm-hmm.
But we still have between now and August to get certified.
Okay.
And so every month I will update you on that to see where are we with that number. And last year there was only about $30,000 difference. It was not significant in terms of the what we projected in taxes versus where we ended up in the year. But during the year, it's gonna vary.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? All right, we will now move on to agenda item 6G, which is a presentation of the 2022 Texas Association of School Business Officials Awards for Merit, Award of Merit for Purchasing Operations, and that will also be by Dr. Amesqua.
Okay. Okay. Now we can do this. Last month we had not received the 2021 NIP award, and so we just got it. And then we also received the TASBO Award of Merit by Texas Association of School Business Officials. This is Kendra Jackson, our procurement director, and this is the 12th year that we receive this. So the Department of Ed receives the procurement award for purchasing by the Texas Association of School Business Officials. So she will present it to you, both of those. Yay.
And while that's going around, I will say again, and I know I say this at least once every other month, thank you, Dr. Mesqua, for what you do, because we seem to get a clean bill of health on our audits every year, and we get a clean bill of health and we get awards. Matter of fact, not only do we get clean bill of health, we get awards from other organizations. So we thank you for what you do. Like I've said a few other times, one of our biggest jobs as board members is to make sure that the budget does not go haywire, and it makes it a whole lot easier when we have a department that does all the heavy lifting, and we don't have to come in and do anything major. So we thank you for what you do, and thank you for everything your department does.
And we have not just the procurement office, but also our choice partners, because they're part of these. Jeff Drury, if you're in the audience, they're part of when we submit the proposal for these 2 awards. They are part of the submission application as well to operate in a cooperative program. So I want to thank as well Choice Partners and the procurement office.
We thank you all for all that you do in getting us all these great awards. So thank you very much and congratulations. will now move on to agenda item 7, which are the action items, the consensus action item agenda. Are there any items on the agenda, the consensus agenda, that anybody wants to remove to the non-consensus agenda? Otherwise, we will just approve the consensus agenda. Doesn't look like any. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion for to pass the action item consensus agenda as is.
So moved.
Been moved by Trustee Cantu and seconded by Trustee Davis. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move it for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. Sorry, that was 6-0. Trustee Duran. I'm sorry. Trustee Duran. Uh-oh. Yeah, we'll have to say it's 6-0. Yeah, it passes 6-0. All right, moving on to the agenda items 8, the non-consistent agenda. We have agenda item 8.1. Consider approval of the 2020-2021 annual financial audit, including required annual single audit report. Is there a motion? Oh, moved by Trustee Dick. Is it seconded by Trustee Brown? Any discussion? Oh, sorry.
Yeah. I'd like to introduce Selena Cereces from Whitley Penn and also Lara Lynch from the Whitley Penn firm. They conducted the external audit, and they're here to present the audit results for fiscal year 2021.
Thank you, Dr. Amesqua. President Norris, members of the board, and Mr. Colbert, we are pleased to present the results of the 2021 audit. We did meet earlier today at 10 a.m. With the audit committee to discuss in detail various stages of our audit, and so we'll be brief today just because I know you have other items as well. As Dr. Amesqua mentioned, Laura Lynch is here with me today, and she did the heavy lifting. She's the senior audit manager. I'm the engagement partner, and Tom Peterson was the engagement quality control partner. And then our senior associate and associates were Brooke, Bryce, and Donald. The audit process starts with our risk assessment, planning as far as new federal programs, any COVID funding, any changes in internal controls. We identify the controls and then also test the key controls that would feed into our substantive test work, which is done after the department closes its books after 8/31/2021. This is all in an effort to issue an opinion. And so there's 3 types of opinions that an entity can receive, and they worsen as you move from right to left. And so every entity wants to earn an unmodified or clean opinion. And so I'm pleased to report that you have earned a clean report or an unmodified opinion. It's the highest level of assurance. An audit is the highest level of assurance that you can receive on a set of financial statements. And because you do receive federal funding, we are required to perform our audit in accordance with government auditing standards. The results, our opinion is listed or is written on pages 15 through 17 of the annual comprehensive financial report. The results of both the financial statement audit and the federal single audit are also on the single audit report. There's one page that details on page 1 and 2. Actually, it's on pages 5. It shows all of our opinions as well, in case you want an abbreviated or just a summary of our opinions. As I mentioned, we do perform a federal single audit because you do spend more than $750,000 on an annual basis in federal awards. This year, your schedule of expenditures of federal awards totaled $26.3 million. And every year we have to go through a major program determination. And so there are Type A and Type B programs. The Type A programs are larger programs, and Type B programs are anything under the Type A threshold. This year, the 21st Century Community Learning Center at $3.2 million and the Head Start Cluster at $16.6 million were audited as major programs. We are required to report any internal control findings, not only just on the financial statements, but also on your federal program compliance. And we had none to report to you. We have to issue an opinion on each of these major programs, so we're issuing an unmodified opinion for both 21st Century and Head Start cluster. Again, every year this changes. And we also have to obtain coverage. In other words, we have to test at least 20% of your CFA every year as part of our audit. You are a low-risk auditee. If you were not a low-risk auditee, we'd have to obtain 40% coverage. So there's some benefit to you and us as well to be a low-risk auditee. These are the areas that we focus on when we're out on site, with the first four being the largest, where most of your expenditures are concentrated. Information technology feeds all of these areas, but we also focus on revenue sources, not just the expenditure side, and we test controls over those transactions as well. And of course, anytime we have these federal programs such as Head Start and 21st Century, we're required to test the federal compliance requirements that are given to us through the Office of Management and Budget at the federal level. And then finally, the financial close and reporting. What does the department do to get the trial balance, all of the books ready so that this large book can be prepared and submitted to both the Government Finance Officers Association, and then its final destination is the Federal Audit Clearinghouse, which is public to everyone that accesses the World Wide Web. If we move into your government-wide financial statement highlights, this particular statement shows the net worth of the department. It shows the total, everything that the department owns and everything that it owes, total assets. Everything that the department owns is $164 million, with the bulk of those assets being cash and cash equivalents at $80.2 million. Capital assets came in second at $57.5 million, and deferred outflows at $16.4 million. If we move down to the total liabilities and deferred inflows, those totaled $133.1 million. And you'll see bonds and the related items and compensated absences at $60.4 million. You did issue bonds, maintenance tax notes, and lease revenue bonds in fiscal year 21, so that's different from prior fiscal years. And then the next two items, the net pension and net OPEB liabilities at $20.7 and $23.9 million respectively, those are not, those do not represent liabilities like an accounts payable, where you have to write a check for $20 or $23 million. That's your proportionate share of the liability at the state level. And all school districts and all entities, whether it's community colleges that participate in TRS, have to report their proportionate share of these liabilities on their financial statements. In the end, the net worth of the department is $30.9 million. If we move to the general fund, Dr. Amescua presented the December financial statements, but remember this is as of August 31st, 2021. You'll see that the results are quite in line with what he presented only 3 to 4 months later. The actual revenues of $52.1 million came under budget by $3.1 million, but your actual expenditures of $49.8 million were less than budgeted by $6.5 million. Overall, you had your expenditures did exceed its revenue, so you reduced fund balance by $6.8 million, and that was by design. Even though the Choice Partners transfers in add to fund balance, you did have transfers out into debt service to make the bond payments that are coming due into the debt service fund. So there was a transfer out to make those payments, and again, that was by design. The ending fund balance in the general fund is $26.1 million, and so you have committed and assigned fund balance totaling almost $10 million. Those can be reallocated, moved. The unassigned fund balance is that which is available for appropriations. And the Texas Education Agency for school districts and even your bond rating agencies and the GFOA as well looks at the unassigned fund balance in comparison to the expenditures. In a few more slides, we'll talk about that $17 million in unassigned fund balance. First, on the general fund revenue, you'll see the makeup of your revenues with property taxes at $25.1 million. Values did increase from the prior year, so that generated a little bit more in revenue, but your rate decreased ever so slightly by a fraction of a penny. You have 25% of your revenues making up fees at $12.9 million, and then tuition at $7.6 million are the three large buckets of revenue within your general fund. Your general fund expenditures are made up of three main categories: your special schools and services, school-based therapy, and then your department-wide, which includes your TRS on behalf, professional services, as well as any facility support. And so the department-wide expenditures are those that cannot be attributed to one single department, and it benefits the entire department as a whole. As such, its name of department-wide. If we look at all governmental fund revenue, not just the general fund, you'll see the makeup of the revenues, with property taxes still being the bulk of your revenue source at 31%, tuition and fees, again, school-based therapy, and then the tuition charged for the ABS East and West. And then Head Start program is very large at $15.3 million, and then your adult ed at 3.7, 21st century, et cetera. Those are your federal programs that are needed to run these programs. Now we revisit the $17 million that I mentioned a few slides back. So if we were to take the $17 million and compare it to the expenditures for the year at $49 million, almost $50 million, and if the department continued to spend at this level of expenditure and all revenues were to cease, this indicates that that revenue, the $17 million, would last about 125 days. In another way to see this is what is the optimal fund balance? It's typically 90 days. That means that your fund balance is healthy for one-time expenditures. Your fund balance should not be used for recurring expenditures, right, for payroll, et cetera, but it's there to reinvest into the department. So that the $17 million equates to 125 days in expenditures, with 12.3 being the optimal. Of course, you've exceeded that. And the danger zone, again, if you continue to spend at the $50 million level, $4.1 million would be the absolute lowest that you could get before things got really bad. So again, you have a healthy fund balance in comparison to your level of expenditures. The required communications are very, there's nothing to them. They're non-eventful, but we did change the name of the report to Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. The comprehensive used to come before the annual, and that was through GASB number 98. GASB 84 was also implemented. The next 2 years, in 2022 and 23, you have leases and subscription-based information technology items, which will require the department to bring on the right to use assets and the liabilities on that statement of net position, which is new for all governments across the United States. So it's not specific to HCDE. There are estimates that we discussed. Any uncollectible taxes is an estimate based on historical collections. And then, of course, the net pension and OPEB liabilities are actuarially determined. And, of course, that's not anything that your business office can determine. So that is why it is considered an estimate. And we feel that those are in line with industry standards. We didn't have any issues in conducting our audit or any disagreements with management, nor did we have any corrected or uncorrected misstatements to report to you here today. And then the final piece of evidence that we received from your management team was the management rep letter, where they asserted that they had provided us with all the information we needed to perform our audit and nothing was withheld, and we don't believe that they consulted with other accountants, and any response to any technical questions that they had was not a condition of our retention as your auditors. Any questions for me?
Superintendent Colbert.
You know, you are so thorough in your report. You've been doing this for a long time, I bet, huh?
Yes.
I mean, she did that whole report in 2 breaths. But there was one part that you glazed over. That there you go, backing on up. There you go.
I know.
That you just flew by it, and I think we should spend some time on it. And that would be this slide. So
right.
Break this slide down for me again.
Okay, so, for the last few years, we come to you with no material weaknesses, significant deficiencies, and an unmodified opinion. And so while it seems like what's new, it's very difficult to get here. I mean, it takes a lot of effort on your management team. And if we had a significant deficiency or a material weakness, that would indicate there's a complete breakdown in the process to produce these financial statements, in the disbursement cycles, in the revenue cycles, and even in managing your federal programs. So while, yes, you've received a clean report every year, it's not an easy task. And you know, we don't see this often where we have clean reports such as this.
You don't see this very often.
Year after year, it's difficult
And
to
you
get
probably
here.
do hundreds of these reports every year.
We
huh?
do. So we do many audits, but you know, you have many eyes on you from many regulators, regulatory agencies, and I know you get audited year round, not just our audit.
Yeah,
so
we
it's
call that our
important.
fan club.
Yes, your fan club. Yes, sir.
So the thing I'm trying to emphasize is that, you know, every year we do this, and every year I've been the superintendent here, I've seen you use a different icon every year, but we get this report of a clean report. And President Norris had mentioned it earlier. Our job as an administration is to be able to provide our trustees with confidence that the place is being run right. And most places that have its challenges, I mean, certainly there's challenges in leadership and in governance, but at the root of it all is always finance. And so, you know, Dr. Mesqua will have us touch the trophies and stuff like that to come around every now and then. But really, it's a testament to the people who reside within this department. It's a testament to the systems that are in place that have been tried. And sometimes, you know, we blow a gasket in our systems, but that's an anomaly.
Right.
And so I think I just want to put weight to this slide so our board can appreciate the systems and the financial best practices that are exhibited by this department on a daily basis.
Right.
But it also embody the individuals that reside within it. Dr. Mesqua runs a tight ship. He has high expectations. He has complicated systems at times, you know. But I'm appreciative of the protection that it provides the organization and the confidence that it provides our board that there's no funny business going on and that they can feel safe and know that we're being good stewards of the taxpayer dollars. So with that, I appreciate you. I would like to use gold or platinum for this icon next year. We need to bedazzle it a little bit, throw some studs on there.
Well, I will say, Mr. Colbert, and I mean, it's typically if there's nothing good to say, I won't say anything at all. But you know, I work with many school districts and governments, and I smile when their procurement shop pulls up their forms, and it's like, wow, these look very familiar. They look like HCDE's forms, but because they borrowed them from you all. So that's really good when we see that. I mean, there's no financial operating guidelines like yours with almost 2,000 pages, but yes, it's quite robust, but we appreciate that, and we understand the scrutiny that you all are under, so that puts a lot of pressure on us too as we perform our audit.
Very good. I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so is now, that was any other discussion on agenda item 8.1? I think we're discussed out. All right, so it's already been moved and properly seconded. We're now moving for a vote. All in favor? Trustee Duhon? Oh, passes unanimously. That will take us now to agenda item 8.2. Consider approval of the service agreement with HTS Inc. Consultants for construction materials testing service. It's been moved by Trustee Cantu. Is there a second? Second by, I think it was Brown. I think it was Trustee Brown. Any discussion? Seeing none. Moving for a vote. All in favor? Passed unanimously. Moving to agenda item 8.3, consider approval of an amendment to the trust agreement for the Harris County Department of Education Public Facility Corporation's lease revenue refunding bond series 2014. Been moved by Trustee Cantu. Is there a second? Nope.
Actually,
this is the one that
the
is-
one that there's no item required. We talked about it at the PFC committee that we had our bond counsel, Marcus Dietz, come and talk to us. He did research on the trust agreement. There is no requirement for us to take this item. The guarantee was in a previous bond that's already been defeased. Therefore, there's no actions required at this time. That was we put this item in case that the agenda item in the research resulted in that we needed to take some action, but no action is necessary at this time.
Okay, so this is more of a point of information then. So we will now move on to agenda item, actually it's addendum 8.4. So it's action item 8.4, which is on the first addendum page, which is consideration and possible vote to appoint 4 directors to the Harris County Department of Education Public Facilities Corporation Board of Directors. Should we get a motion first?
You can't move until,
Okay.
you don't know who to vote for.
Okay.
So, as you all know, the Public Facilities Corporation is a nonprofit, separate corporation set up in order for the bonds and the maintenance tax notes, et cetera, that benefit the department. By the bylaws of the PFC Board of Directors, the HCDE Board appoints directors to serve on the PFC Board of Directors. There are 4 current directors, including Mr. Rich Vela, Mr. Richard Cantu, Dr. Jesus Amezcua, and Mr. Colbert, whose terms currently end on February 11th, 2022. And so therefore this board needs to appoint 4 individuals to serve on the HCDE PFC board for a term of the next 3 years. Historically, it's not in the bylaws, but historically the superintendent, as well as the executive director of facilities, as well as the chief financial officer, assistant superintendent of business services, have always served on the PFC board of directors. And so I offer that for historical knowledge, and Mr. Colbert's vehemently shaking his head. And so I think he would concur that, and perhaps recommend that continue.
Yeah. And I would. I certainly, I would say Trustee Cantu has been a very valuable trustee on this committee because he knows so much about construction in his professional career, which has been, it's helpful. I mean, it helps us get stuff done. But as you know, and I don't know that you mentioned this, Ms. Langlois, anybody can really be a part of PFC. But, it's our job as the administration to be able to ensure that these projects get carried on correctly. There's a tremendous amount of money that gets allocated and dispersed that this board has trusted PFC to be able to deal with. And I would feel uncomfortable if anyone other than myself, Dr. Amezcua, and Mr. Vela weren't a part of that conversation. So for sure, the 3 of us, I think, need to be able to remain on there, and I would request with y'all's approval that we be able to maintain Ms. Trustee Cantu on there too, if he would like to remain in that position.
And just for information purposes, the other 3 members of the PFC include President Norris, whose term expires January 15th, 2023, Mr. Cadillon, whose term also expires January 15th, 2023, and Trustee Duhan, whose term expires March 3rd, 2024. I've passed out, if you wouldn't mind passing those. Sample motions if you all so choose.
Trustee Dick?
Sure, so I move to appoint Trustee Cantu. Who were the other people you wanted, James?
Mr. Colbert, Dr. Amezcua, and Mr. Vela.
I move to incorporate those other 3 into my appointment.
So specifically, if I may, if you don't mind, was your motion to appoint Trustee Richard Cantu, Dr. Amezcua, Mr. Rich Vela, and Mr. Colbert, directors of the HC Public Facilities Corporation Board of Directors for a term of 3 years?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Is there a second? So it's been moved by Trustee Dick, seconded by Trustee Hinojosa. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll move for a vote. All in favor? Oh, sorry. Didn't hear the discussion. Sorry. Oh, Trustee Brown, I'm sorry.
So
these flowers are blocking. I'm sorry. Let me put that.
No, it's all good, Danny. So with this, is the PFC, is this similar to the other committees that we have at HCDE?
Similar, it's not a committee, it's actually a separate legal entity.
Okay.
A public facilities corporation has its own governing set of statutes, but it's set up for the exclusive benefit of Harris County Department of Education. Think about it as the vehicle by which the maintenance tax notes and the other funding opportunities go through in order to benefit the department. Jesus, is that correct? Thank you.
You can sit on the board.
Okay, yeah, so that was gonna be my next question, so is it open for us to join? Is there
You may always participate, but just as a non-voting member. And the reason for that is we try to keep the PFC Board of Directors to not have a quorum of this board, because then it would be a meeting of both. Does that make sense?
understand.
But you're always welcome to attend. It's posted in accordance with the Open Meetings Act. Anyone from the public, and of course, any trustee can always attend.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All right, seeing none. We'll move for a vote. All in favor? Passes unanimously. All right, we will now move to the last non-consensus agenda item, which is 8.5, which is the next page on the last addendum. And this is to consider approval for interlocal agreement for law enforcement services between Harris County and HCDE for the period of March 1st, 2022 through September 30th, 2022 in the amount of $303,667. 7 officers for all special schools, HPE East, AB East, AB West, and Fortis. It's been moved by Trustee Cantu. Is there a second? Was that a second by Trustee Brown? Any discussion?
This is for 7 months only. The county is changing their fiscal year to October 1. You will see another one later on in the summer for the fiscal year from October 1 to September 30th, because the county is changing their fiscal year.
Okay. All right. Oh, Trustee Cantu.
Dr. Mesqua, is this an increase? Are we adding?
This is the same amount for this 7 months. There may be an increase in the new one because that's a new fiscal year. They probably are gonna, I would venture to say there's usually a percentage increase because of salaries.
But we're currently at 7 officers?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? All right, seeing none, moving for a vote. All in favor? All right, pass unanimously. Sorry, y'all, I'm trying to look over these gifts. So, all right. That will take us now to agenda item 9, which is executive session, which we will be taking it in the next room. Will we take it? Yeah, we'll take it in the next room. So for those who are going to stay, you can stay. You don't have to hang out in the hallway. Under Texas Government Code, pursuant to any and all purposes permitted by Section 551.001 through 551.084. Reconvene. It is 3:28. We'll move on to agenda item 11, which is discussion and possible action regarding future agenda items. Are there any from any board members? Seeing none over all the bags, we can move on to agenda. That ends the meeting for the formal meeting. Then we have a PFC meeting after this. So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Been moved by Trustee Davis. Is there a second? Second by Trustee Cantu. All in favor? All right, passes unanimously. And for those who are staying for the PFC meeting,